Hello everybody, this is a chat with Danny and Wanda. We're going to take this opportunity to actually sit down and chat with y'all. We haven't done that in quite some time. I know some of y'all said you've missed that, and we thought maybe we might just reminisce a little bit, you know, and go back and do that again.
Yeah, because it's warm, sitting here with the fire. Well, it's cold outside, but it's not really that cold for most people.
It's not that cold for most people.
What is it, 40? In the 50s?
It's in the 50s right now, but our house is like 60 to 65 degrees on the inside. So we don't have no heat except wood heat, and I don't want to fire the wood heater up just because it's in the 60 or right around 60 or 65 in the house, because it'd run us out.
We'd be opening windows and doors if we did. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about some things that on our live stream, we kind of follow the comments a lot.
Yeah, that's something. The last two live streams we've done, we really had intentions of talking about the videos that week, and you know, all y'all began to ask so many questions that we just kind of threw it to the side and kind of decided that we'd go with answering y'all's questions, because you know, I mean, that's the whole goal. We want to make sure y'all are happy with what you're doing. We answer your questions. I mean, that's what we felt like live stream. We needed to interact, and so we
missed a few points that we'd like to talk about from last week, and then we were at the church yesterday, and that went really well. We appreciate everybody, you know, and giving Pastor and Platt a good review and a good workout. He needed that. He needed that.
It's actually funny. He went back home and actually watched it. Him and his wife watched it again, so he could just see what he looked like, I guess, on screen. But he enjoyed it. I mean, and it really kind of helped, I think, build a little bit of a fire underneath him and kind of get him a little bit more encouraged. So kind of get his feet wet, you might say. So I appreciate all y'all coming out and watching that live stream with him, and all the people that are watching it. For some reason, this thing's going viral almost. I mean, in one day we've had close to 11,000 views just in one day.
Yeah, so I told Danny, God just took it and went, because there's no way. People must be just clicking on it and clicking off. I don't even know where these people are coming from.
I don't even know where they're coming from. We've never had a video do like this.
So we're giving it to God. We think it has to be God.
It has to be God. I can't think of no other reason, because we didn't do anything different than we'd done before, other than the fact that we were just in the church and we interviewed our pastor.
And we just let God take over. You know, we gave him the glory for that last night.
Yeah.
So to
start out with, I mean, a couple of weeks ago we talked about, we had a video up on our Saturday Night Live video that we did, the live stream. We wanted to talk about the drought that we was in.
Yeah, and we put up drought as the title, and then we really didn't talk about the drought.
We didn't even talk to y'all about the drought. That was what was so funny about it. And we got through, me and her looked at each other and go, wow, we didn't even talk about the drought tonight.
And last night I put up a thumbnail of spoons, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. We didn't even talk about that either. So we felt like our titles and our pictures were kind of deceiving.
Yeah, so we didn't want y'all to feel like you got slighted or anything. So, you know,
we're backtracking.
We're going to backtrack a little bit here and go back to the drought situation. Now we were on day, I think it was like day 40 or 41 without any rain. And God was good. We were praying hard. We had things planted. We have tender greens, turnip greens, kale, collards. We have all this stuff up trying to grow. Wanda and I have been frantically, as you've seen in one of the videos, hand watering this stuff for days on end. It seemed like forever. I know it wasn't.
Somebody asked, couldn't we run hoses? Now we do have enough hoses that we can run to this garden.
Yeah.
But it's just really, it's a lot of difficult work.
It's really difficult for us to do that.
And we're on a well. We don't like to run our pump that long.
The one thing that's, I guess, is different here than maybe where a lot of people is, we have our own well. We are not on community water or public water. We don't believe in it because it's just wrong, to be honest with you. And because I mean, they can tamper with your water system. They're putting chlorine in it. They're doing all these other kind of things that's just completely unhealthy for the body. And two, if you put that kind of stuff on your garden, chlorine is nothing but bleach, and you're just bleaching your garden. So I mean, And plus you're bleaching your system, and also when they came through our area with it, we just banned it. We told them no, we don't want it. And you know, granted it does put us in a little bit different position. Now we are on a well, which means that we must maintain our own water system here. And plus, if we run the well, it runs our electric bill up. And plus, if the well goes out,
we have to pay for the
then we have to pay to have it fixed.
And this well is what, 10 years old?
This well was put down in 2000, so it's 16 years old. My pump is 16 years old.
So we don't want to stress it, especially in the heat.
In the heat, just for that, you know, I mean, we'll water it some, and I know somebody's going to ask the question about rain catchment. To be honest with you,
it hasn't rained, so what rain are you going to catch?
It wouldn't matter anyway if we had it.
Yeah. But now when it does rain, everything absorbs, and we keep our gardens, he plows most all of them. If we know it's going to rain and it needs plowing, he plows it, or we go through it and break the ground so the rain will absorb. Otherwise it just runs off, because we're on hills. I mean, that's the other thing, we're on hills.
Yeah, it's extremely hilly here, and you know, we're on the highest hill in our county. And it's just, our soil is extremely sandy here, so when it does rain, we don't really get a lot of benefit from it, because it can rain 2 inches today, and day after tomorrow I can go ahead and plow. I mean, the ground's fine. I don't have to worry about it. I never get boggy or anything like that here, because it's just so sandy. Unless I go off into the very bottom land that we have, then we could bog down. But up on top of these hills here where we live at, we can. I mean, as long as it rains less than an inch, I can plow the next day. Yeah,
and we did get rain. So to finish out the drought thing from a couple of weeks ago, we were going to talk about how we were having to deal with it with hand watering. But last week we got a good rain.
Got about an inch and a half over
2 or 3 days.
Over a 2-day period. We got an inch and a half of rain that was steady, slow rain. It was no hard rain in it. I mean, it was perfect.
So we haven't had to water in over a week now. If we don't get rain in the next couple of days, we'll go water again, but the ground's still wet.
The ground is still wet. The only thing we have to water is our animals, because it wasn't enough water to put water back in the swamps. So, I mean, you know, there may be a few holes of water here and there that's got some, a few holes in the swamp that has some water in it. But as far as the running streams and stuff like that, they're not running. We're still, I mean, my neighbor's pond right next door to me here is still like, it's like 4 feet low. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, we're still in pretty bad drought here. But,
and moving on to this week, the spoons. So I want to explain the spoons because I thought this was really cute, and I don't have a clip.
Oh, excuse me, it's getting late.
Showing these spoons up close. We got these spoons from Miss Kathleen. She sent me a box this week of stuff, and it had candles and soap, and it had the spoons, and I don't remember. There was
so much stuff packed in this box. It was amazing.
And the candles smell real good. And these are some of the candles I used in my dining room in my video that I put up. And these spoons, one set of them, they're stainless, right?
Yeah.
They're made.
Well, either they're aluminum or stainless.
I'm not sure, but they have the stainless look. I'm not sure. But one of them is this traditional tablespoon, teaspoon, half teaspoon, quarter teaspoon. The other set, if you'll look really, really closely, they're very tiny. Yeah. One of them says it's a smidgen, one says it's a dash, and one says it's a pinch. Each one of them is a little bit more than the other.
Right.
The smidgen being the least, and I can't remember.
Smidgen, a pinch, and then a dash.
No, I think you got it backwards. No, I don't know.
No, that's right.
You have to look at the real close because I can't remember. One of them, the smidgen's the smallest.
The smallest one, and then a pinch comes next, and then a dash.
Then the dash.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. The pinch and then the dash.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm assuming these are old.
They had to be back in the 30s at least.
And so they did measure smidgens, pinches and dashes.
They were actually spoons that measured that.
And so Danny has put hooks in my Hoosier cabinet, and these are going to be a permanent place for my spoons is in my Hoosier cabinet because I'm always looking for things like that that are unusual. And so that was just I guess I was tickled when I got it.
Oh yeah, she was excited about that, yeah.
So that's why we had the spoons on there. We intended to talk about that so we don't get lost before next weekend. We'll be forgot what we did, so. Yeah,
and we just, want to thank Miss Kathleen for the gift.
We want to thank her and her son. Her son's coming to visit next summer, y'all. So we're gonna have a visitor next summer for a while.
And want to move ahead to the Back to Nature video that we put up there. I got a little bit of flack on that, but you have to understand here where we live at. I mean, I've been gardening my whole life. There's not many things I haven't tried, and I'm usually extremely successful at what I do. But the concept of back to Eden has not worked here. I have tried it in every way that I know how. I have looked at all the YouTube channels over the past year or two. I mean, I was at wit's end with it because the termites here, I see all these YouTube things about people using pallets. Oh, they buy pallets and they make this out of pallets and they make that out of pallets. So let me tell you something. I can buy a pallet and bring it here and lay it on my ground, and in less than a week, it's infested with termites and it's almost eat up on the parts that's on the ground. That's how bad they are here. The power companies has actually come around and took the creosote light poles down because the termites are actually eating up the creosote light poles. And they're putting in a new treated light pole. It's a dark green colored light pole that has a different type of treatment in it that the termites are not messing with. So that's how bad they are here with this sandy soil where we're at. And when I put wood chips into a garden and I go out there and start raking the garden back and I have literally hundreds of thousands of termites in the soil, I'm not interested in doing that because I don't want them around here. The next thing I know, they'll be eating my house up or something. I mean, they're that bad. So we don't promote termites. No. We try to keep them away as much as possible. Yeah. And not only do we end up with termites in it, we end up with fire ants. And when you put plants in and you have fire ants, the fire ants girdle the plants right at the ground and eat them off, and the plants just die. And one year, Wanda and I, this past year I think it was, we went through, there ain't no telling how many broccoli plants and all this kind of stuff, cabbage plants and stuff like that, trying to get them to grow. They would not grow. The ants would just build up beds right around the bottom of the plant and literally just eat them off. And they would die. The
one thing Danny's tried that worked was when he was at his mom's.
Yeah.
Was the grass clippings.
I did do the grass clippings when I was staying with my mom and them, helping them out. I spent about a year and a half living there with them and helping take care of my dad and them when they were really ill. And the fresh green grass clippings is something at their house that worked, which is not very far from me here, about 15 minutes away, worked. And I use grass clippings here when I have my catcher for my lawnmower and I mow, as long as the grass is not in seed stage. Now if it's in seed stage, I will not use it on the garden because I'm not planting grass in my garden. I try to keep as much grass out of my garden as I can. So I will mulch the leaves in the fall, and I do store them up and I use those around plants, and that seems to have worked real well.
And we do have a chipper. Somebody asked about a chipper. We just didn't crank it up and chip them and put them on this yet. We intend to do some of that, but
we'll do that once we plant the plants.
Yeah.
We'll set our chipper up and we'll harvest the leaves and stuff, and we'll run them through that chipper and make a fine mulch out of it, and we'll put all that around our plants. I mean, that is one thing that we do.
Yeah.
The other thing is when you load those wood chips up on your soil, it literally depletes your soil of nitrogen. I mean, you have to go in and start dumping tons of nitrogen in that soil just to have it up to where you need it, because in the sandy soil where we live at, and if it comes to rain, the nitrogen's gone in about 2 days if you put any out, because it leaches into that sandy soil so bad that if we end up putting too many wood chips in, by the time our plants get big enough, there's no nitrogen left there whatsoever for them. So we have discovered over the last 3 years of doing this that the leaves do seem to work real good. Now the oak leaves do seem to be a little bit more acidic than say the maple leaves that we have or any of the other leaves. And So, you know, we do have to add some more nitrogen.
And I'm using the maple leaves in my herb garden.
Yeah.
We have a maple tree. Well, we have
several maple trees.
But the one in front of our house, I've been raking all those leaves and putting them in the herb garden. So I'm trying to build up the mulch in my herb garden.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, and Wanda did the bread making video, which I thought turned out really unique, how the different ways in which she did that and the different results that she got.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes those old books, back to the basic books and stuff like that, some of those ways are just tried and proven, and it doesn't pay to deviate from them, because if they work, I've always had the theory, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know, so.
Well, I did want to try, I mean, I used to make that bread recipe all the time, but it's been 20 years. And so the bread recipes I have now don't call for using a rolling pin and rolling things out.
Right.
But one of the comments was that using the rolling pin degasses the yeast, and so it makes it smoother. And that was definitely true in that bread, because the one that I used the rolling pin on and made the cinnamon bread was actually, the top was smoother.
Yeah.
And the other one, it was just real rough and bubbly like. I mean, it baked, it tastes the same, nothing different, but one rose a little more than the other.
One was just prettier than the other one.
Yeah, well, the cinnamon tasted better too.
Yeah, true. The cinnamon was better.
And I like the cast iron. I was going to say the cast iron.
The cast iron made all the difference in the world about how well they baked. Rather than use these thin metal pans, that cast iron's just awesome. But
I have two good thick bread pans that Danny bought me, and I thought they cooked bread fine. I had no issues with them, and nothing sticks to them. But once we bought the cast iron, I'm hooked. I've done potato bread, sweet potato bread yesterday
for the fall festival at church.
And it dumped out perfect, turned out wonderful.
Yes.
You know, I'm just hooked on that cast iron. So if y'all don't own cast iron bread pans, y'all need to.
It's the way to go, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, there's so many things that we're finding out here lately that even as long as I've been doing it, there's still new things. Like Wanda's got this juicing thing that she was.
I made jelly this week.
She made jelly this week, and I'm telling you, it made it so much easier on her using this juicing pot.
I did everything by myself. He was out making spoons, and y'all, I used the juicing pot. I put the blackberries in. We've got a video coming up this week, and I did the whole 2 batches of jelly right by myself. I didn't have to have somebody helping me pour stuff over and using the bag and squeezing.
Wasn't all that nastiness of staining your hands up, squeezing with jelly bags and all this kind of stuff.
I wasn't purple, you know.
I mean, it was just great the way it worked.
And I want to thank Miss B Lady for that. That steamer has it's been wonderful.
I tell you, we'll put a link up in here if y'all are interested in that steamer pot. You know, we have it on our
it's on our web
page. If you can go through Amazon and get one. This thing is just
and the bread pans are on there.
The bread pans are there too. But I'm telling you, this juicing pot. Had we known about this,
we'd owned one.
We would have owned one 3 years ago and saved ourselves a lot of heartache. You know, I mean, it's good for making anything basically. I don't care if you put apples in it, if it's peaches or
the chicken that we baked.
Yes,
that pot is on Amazon too, but on our web page.
Yeah.
But that chicken, you could have put it in that juicer steamer.
Right.
And cooked it, and all your broth would have ended up in that middle pan. So it comes in handy for doing chicken.
And just getting the broth. If you want just the broth without having to strain it and all that kind of stuff, it's just pure broth.
There will be nothing in it but the broth. It's awesome. So
there's hardly ever a period during the day where Wanda and I are in the house still for 30 minutes. At any one given time, because we're that busy. I notice a lot of people make the comment, well, fall is here now and we can start slacking up. Winter's coming. We can start chilling back. Look, when fall and winter hits deep south, we get in gear because
we've sat around during the summer, during the heat of the day, we couldn't get out.
Yeah.
We had to be in the house, and so we could kind of keep up with videos. Back in the spring, we worked the garden a lot, but we still had time because we were just planting.
Yeah.
Now it's fence rows need cleaning.
We got everything now. I mean, we're butchering. I hate to use the word butchering. We're, you know, Big Bear. Jason made a comment on his video the other day, and I think it was Jason that did this. I was watching him. I don't like using the word butchering. And Jason made a very valid point on his video, or his live stream, I think it was, because I was watching the live stream the other night. And he said, now that fall is here, it's a different type of harvesting that we need to do. Yes. And I like to use that word harvesting whenever I take my animals and for eating. Because basically, that's what you're doing. I mean, you harvest the gardens, you harvest crops, you harvest fruit. When it comes to your meat, I like to use the word harvest on the meat also. So this week, I've been harvesting a rooster a day.
We're in the process of harvesting animals now.
It's cold weather now.
One rabbit that's got to go.
Now we've got, we have so much going on here. We're getting the soil ready for this coming spring. We've got the greenhouse. We just now starting to get it put together. Everything.
It's looking nice. Somebody asked about an update on the greenhouse. We've got all the barrels full of dirt. He started planting on this side. We've already got this side planted. He started on this side, so we'll do an upgrade probably in a week or so when we get everything there.
Get everything up, because what we're doing is we're turning our greenhouse into a permaculture thing. We're actually doing companion planting in the greenhouse to get as much out of it as we can get.
Because it is a small space.
Yeah.
And we want to utilize every inch of that space.
Yeah, so I guess, we probably don't need to dog it off here because we probably used up enough time.
Yes.
So, we just want to give y'all a little bit of an update on what we're doing here and how things are going.
And he's going to have another All God's Children. We haven't done a All God's Children live thing lately. No. We've only done the one. But when we can get a few minutes, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know when we get a chance to go live. Yeah.
Things will slow down.
At some point, we're getting there gradually. It's just that we've had so many upgrades to our farm here that we put off during the summer because of the extreme heat, that now that it's cooling off, we're actually able to get out and get some of the upgrades done. Electric fencing, we're getting all of our electric fencing taken care of.
And we went out and shot the crossbow, and I can shoot it as well as he can.
I was really impressed. She did as good a job as I did, and I'm a marksman, so that really impresses me. Yeah.
I was proud of myself. I could actually hit the target almost exactly where he did.
She was hitting exactly the same spot I was. And what that means is the equipment is functioning properly, is what it means.
And the person shooting.
And she has a good steady hand. So, we've got a lot of deer coming in now, and there's some massive ones.
Three at one time.
3 at one time. We looked back and saw the other day. So we may sit up one evening and try to take one of those. So we want to tell y'all we appreciate that, and thank y'all for just watching and intervening on all of it and just being a part of it. We appreciate
especially
that.
For the prayers and the blessings that you sent our way.
Yes, that means a lot to us, and thank y'all for getting us with our subs up to where we are. We never dreamed we was going to grow this fast, this quick. So, we have a lot of plans in the future. We're planning on skyrocketing with this YouTube channel. I'm just going to tell you up front, we plan on this thing going through the roof. So, we got some interesting things coming up in the future. So, I want to tell y'all, we appreciate you. We love you. Have a great night. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.